Here are some LEGO dinosaurs, but they haven't always been what we know today. Inside this box, I've got some of the first dinosaurs that LEGO ever made from well over 20 years ago. And later on, there's going to be a third, so stay tuned for that.
So I have got here the Styraccosaurus and the Brachiosaurus set, both from the Dinosaurs 2001 theme.
The level of detail, even on these canisters, really is something quite special, with all those fossilized dinosaur bones embedded into the stone appearance that each one has.
I think the canister just twists off like a bionicle there. So we've got the cool lid, that'll be important later on. And then inside of this, where we have all of the pieces. So we've got these kind of two different designs of the body design, and I think these jaws just kind of snap together to obviously form the main body. So I think we put these two together like so, and then in between them I think that is where these two larger pieces go. They just slot over those holes there, and then obviously we can snap these two pieces together as well, and then I believe that all just closes up together like that. And yeah, there we have the body. Oh yes, that is very cool. So these have kind of got a nice kind of ratchet joint connections. So yeah, now we've got the body of the creature. What happens next? Well, we've got the legs here. Don't think it matters which way we put these on. So we can have the back legs there. That slots on nice. That's a nice connection. And then we have got the front legs. I believe they go that way, I think. So it looks like, yeah, these legs, they can kind of, there's a bit of articulation there. We can get some different poses just by moving those forwards and backwards. What do we have next? We've got the tail. Obviously that's going to go at the back here. Building that up, just nice two pieces there. That can lift up and down and rotate around. That's pretty cool there. And then of course, finally, we finish this all off with the head and neck. So the big Triceratops, Styracosaurus, whatever, the big kind of ceratopsian head doesn't connect to this neck piece, so that neck piece is just a little spare part, and then this just slots in there like so, and then we can finish it off with these four different horn pieces.
So even 24 years later, this is still the only Styracosaurus LEGO has ever made. It's a pretty cool little model though, and I love the little eye pattern that it has printed on the crest, kind of like decoys to scare away predators. Now the lid not only carries on the buried fossil design from the box, but it also has some studs on top which are there so you can display the completed model on top, although it can be a bit difficult to kind of get it sat on top there.
Now to convert this to one of the alternate builds, first of all we can just take these horns off, and then already we have got the Centrosaurus, which is literally just the Styracosaurus without those horns. Everything else about this is exactly the same. So yeah, that's a pretty simple transformation. And then to turn the Centrosaurus next into the Triceratops, we just take two of these horns, and there we are then. We've got our Triceratops, which is, yeah, quite a bit different to the newer version. Obviously the newer one has got printed eyes and everything, and it's got that kind of rubbery beak and the rubbery horns that are kind of moulded into this. But yeah, this is still a pretty cool looking little Triceratops here. They're actually a similar size, which is pretty cool. It's nice to kind of see that the size has stayed pretty consistent between these two very different building systems. Although, you know, I guess this older dinosaur system was kind of like an early precursor. It's the newer stuff. I mean, we've got the kind of ratchet joint connections and everything, the large moulded pieces. But yeah, the newer Triceratops does, of course, have articulation in all four legs and the head that can fully rotate around, which is, you know, always nice to get. I think it would actually be really cool if they made a new Styracosaurus. I mean, all they would really need to do is re-release this Triceratops again, which they have made quite a few times now, and then just, you know, change the head mold. And then finally, to make the Camarasaurus, this is the one where you have to remove the head fully, and I believe this is just simply a case of plopping this new head on, and yeah, that does look pretty good as well. I really like this kind of old dinosaur head. It was used on a lot of these creatures in the past, but yeah, there's just something about it that just looks really cool. Obviously it's got that nice wide open face there, and it just all around kind of has that old school Lego animal vibe with those kind of eyes kind of moulded in there. Next up we have got the big boy, the Brachiosaurus. Again, the canister just kind of opens the same way. Inside here, what do we have? Well, we've got all the pieces, and this time we've also got the instructions. So yeah, we've got an extra 6 pieces with this one, and we also have the... Oh wow, look at this! Okay, so this dinosaur little instruction sheet, this backside, has got this really cool looking poster on it. We've got some little dinosaur fossils hidden around in this little kind of tropical island place. Yeah, that is a really cool little artwork. We've got a snake crawling around there. We've got some fish and sharks in the ocean, little prehistoric creatures. Yeah, that is a really cool looking little poster. I was not expecting to see that. And then here we have got the full instructions. So now we've got the central body. Obviously the first one that we need to make is the Brachiosaurus. That is obviously the main build of the set. So let's start by slotting on the front legs here, and same with the back legs here. And what do we have next? So we've got these 2 long neck pieces. I believe we're going to have one for the neck. So that just attaches in there. And then we finish off the neck with another of these longer pieces. I believe that just goes in there. And then we have the head, which then just fits in the end there. And then as for the tail, we need to use this piece, and that just slots in there like so. And then we plop this end tail piece on there just like that.
Brachiosaurus may be big, but it's still dwarfed by the modern version. Although the older one actually has more to offer in terms of articulation, with the head able to lower much further down, and the legs actually being able to move, so this one can stand fully upright like so.
So the main build of this one has a lot more extra pieces than the Styracosaurus. Obviously we've got these 2 pieces for the tail or neck of some of the others. We've got these 2 feet pieces, they're very interesting. So I think the idea with these is they go on the bottom of the feet to kind of give some claws to another creature. We've got 4 of these fins, that's for the sea creature in this set. And then we've got these 2 arms. These are actually the same arm pieces from the classic LEGO Dragon piece. As for the first transformation, it's pretty simple. You just pull off this tail, you rip the head off, and then you just kind of swap them around, but you make the tail a bit longer. This is of course the Diplodocus.
Diplodocus was the main star of Walking with Dinosaurs episode 2, so it's a hugely iconic dinosaur, and one that I would absolutely love to see LEGO make with the updated building system.
And then the next one we have is the Plateosaurus, and I believe what we do with this one is really simple. We just pull these front legs off, we keep the head and the tail the same, pop these little feet, claw thingies at the bottom, and then we add on the dragon arms. So this is kind of a 2-legged, 2-armed dinosaur. And yeah, there we have the Plateosaurus. This is one of the animals from the Triassic period, so kind of one of the oldest dinosaurs that there ever was. And then the final one in the set. This time we are adding in these 4 fins instead of legs. And there we have the Plesiosaur. So this isn't actually a dinosaur, this is obviously one of those old school marine reptiles.
The Plesiosaurus is honestly really fun. It's literally just the Brachiosaurus but with flippers instead of legs, but I think it works really well. The pieces for these dinosaurs weren't highly specialised, which really lent itself well to the transformation feature that these sets had going on. Of course, these 2 sets are part of a series of 4 to collect, and a few days later,
I have another box, and inside is one of those 2 remaining dinosaurs, so let's see what it is. Well, first of all, we have got this Hero Factory set from 2011. This is Next 3.0. We've also got this Ninjago Jungle Raider set for Legacy. I never picked this up when it originally came out, so yeah, this is pretty cool to have. A nice scaled down Jungle Raider one for all those Ninjago fans out there, but that's not important for this video either. What we have here is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, the big tyrant lizard king himself, who also transforms into 3 more cool dinosaurs. So let's see exactly what is inside here. So it looks like we've got all of the pieces in this little bag here. The body is already built up, so that's saved us some time. Then we've got this Tyrannosaurus Rex head. This uses a few pieces. You can see we've got that opening jaw there, and inside this there is a really great part use. They've just used the classic alligator head but in red to represent the tongue of this creature, and then we can plop that head on just like that. There we go, there is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. How cool is that? It's got the same arms that the Plateosaurus had, but now in sand blue. The only real unique thing about this one is that awesome head, which can of course open and close. To transform this one, we can first of all plop this little spine piece on top, and it's really just as simple as that to make the Spinosaurus. This was the first, and until June of this year, the only Spinosaurus that LEGO had ever made. This was the exact same design, was reused in that Jurassic Park 3 set, just with some different colour schemes. So yeah, the only Spinosaurus LEGO had made previously was just a T-Rex with a sail on its back. But somehow I don't think that would really make the cut anymore. This would not be a good Spinosaurus if they released this today, just the new T-Rex with a spine on its back. So yeah, when that new set comes out in June and we finally get a new moulded Spinosaurus design to go along with the modern day dinosaur building system, that is going to be really cool to get and see just how it compares to this original Spinosaurus. Of course, we can also remove the head of this to swap it with this head and neck to make the Ouranosaurus. And then finally, one very simple change to this, we just plop this on the back of the head there and remove the spine, and then we have the Parasaurolophus. So there are all 4 of the builds in the Tyrannosaurus Rex set.
I do think it's pretty cool that all 3 of these include that basic dinosaur headpiece, meaning that we've got it for both colour schemes that these dinosaur sets used. Now, there is also the Mosasaurus set, which is the most difficult of these to get hold of, but I would really like to get it before that new set is out, so that just like with Spinosaurus, I can do a comparison between new and old. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss my Jurassic World videos when those new sets are out, because it does look like it's going to be a really promising set wave, and I'm really excited to get hold of some of those new dinosaurs. In the meantime, check out the video on screen now, and thank you so much for watching.